Hello, everyone. I don't know what channel this is going to be put on. Maybe Slender Vlogs or whatever. It's me, Slenderman, and Player.
Yes.
And we are going to be
Going over Destiny. As you guys know, I'm pretty much a huge Destiny fan.
I have no clue.
And I've played all the expansions, so for anyone who's played it, I've about a good probably 50 hours in here. I haven't gone through the raid yet, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty good. And I've been enjoying a lot of it. A lot of the new Rise of Iron weapons can't even roll bad perks, so it's more rewarding, I will say. I've gotten quite a lot of loot. But I will say I'm not a big fan of how the new leveling system works, where it's now you're forced to do certain activities to get to higher levels, and only certain things can drop. It's kind of more reminiscent of like Start of Taken King mixed with the April Update loot system versus the pure April Update system. If you guys know what that is, unlike Kevin. So, but basically, if you guys don't want spoilers, skip to about 4 or 5 minutes into your, we'll have an exact link underneath. Right now, to give you about 10 seconds.
So,
do,
skip now. It's about 1 minute 20 something seconds right now. 25.
Alright.
Skip to like I think, like you said, 4 or 5 minutes. I'll put the time in the description.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So for rest of you who are brave enough or don't want spoilers or have already gone through it, to know, this is a 5-story mission campaign which involves you originally taking back Felwinter's Peak. Pretty cool. That's the first time you meet Sevix Prime, and the first time you get to see a cutscene in which Saladin actually kills something. It's actually kind of really cool, and you should watch it, even if you don't play it. But
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah, he hasn't seen any of it. But besides that, honestly, it felt really short, the main campaign. It was 5 story missions. They introduced a whole lot of shit into it, like such as different elements of the Scorch Cannon. It only shows up in one mission, doesn't go into detail or anything. It seems like almost like Destiny 1's not level of going into depth, but there's actual story and character development there. So it's really weird to explain. Like, think of it as a pretty good mix between Destiny 1 and Taken King story. It wasn't the greatest story. I would say Taken King's is probably better for length and some humor, but for what it was and the seriousness involved, even ending off in you killing the Iron Lords that have been infected by Siva at the end, yes, that's why we warned about spoilers. It really keeps the same tone where you're a badass throughout it, and it's necessary, and I really like it. It was really good, and with the introduction of the axe, it was really cool.
Notification.
Okay. Yeah, so overall, I felt that was pretty good. So now I'm gonna talk about some strikes. This is where we'll come off here, guys. So
Hang on,
back.
Before, because I'm going to be putting it at like 4 minutes or something. We are not in a hotel room.
This is our new studio for Xbox.
I have gotten 1 or 2 complaints about that thing over there. That's got a light behind the curtains. It looks like a window.
It's not a window.
We are recording this at about 2:40 a.m.
So if you show them right there, that's the actual window.
And a Nuka-Cola.
Okay, so if you guys came back, here's where I talk about.
Welcome.
Here's where I talk about some of the strikes and how I feel. I don't feel these are really spoilers since before the game was out, even Bungie was talking about them, and there's lots of footage about it. Plus, they honestly don't have a lot of huge story connotation. It's just something you're going to run a lot of times to get loot. So let's start off with the Wretched Eye Strike. I don't like it. Personally, I feel it is a more difficult strike. Yeah, I don't mind more difficult things in Destiny, but it's to the point where unless you're running it with a dedicated fire team, you are really going to have a hard time, because you have to be able to dedicate 1 person to take the ogre's attention, and 2 people to do damage to the boss
Smart move.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to talk and avoid fucking Shanks, which these two fuckers are supposed to be shooting. Sorry. I'm running strikes right now, and I'm running with two fucking teammates, which are dumbasses, which help prove my point. So, but honestly, when you're going through these strikes, you don't have, in most cases, the ability to talk to your people. Which, when I was running it with some of my friends, I never had a problem with the Watch or Die strike, but since today I've been running through it with just randoms, it's been pretty difficult. There's been a lot of deaths, even though it's solar burned, and most of the enemies in there are, even though they have solar weapons, they usually try to melee you. So I haven't been really killed by the Splicer Drakes besides them coming up behind me and meleeing me. But the Shanks just, I feel, do a ridiculous amount of damage because there's a lot of them, while you're trying to avoid the Splicer Priest and the Ogre. It's pretty overwhelming, and if you can't dedicate one person when those Shanks to spawn to kill them, everyone's just focusing on DPS, causing more to spawn, and it just becomes overwhelming, and then you eventually get killed by the Ogre. It's not very fun.
Isn't that the one where you die like 8 times?
Yeah, it was, but
that was funny.
When I was playing with my friends, we went through it really quickly, because I said, okay, when he adds spawn, I'll kill him, because I have a good scout rifle that one-shots them. And then our Titan, who was a Defender Titan, ran no backups plans, a shotgun, and kited the Ogre around the map, while when I wasn't killing the ads, another one was killing him. That's how it should be, and I like it. That's a pretty raid-like mechanic, though, for a strike, which, as I said, is meant to be able to be played with just random people. And I don't see it succeeding with randoms. So what I would say is probably just maybe at least tone down either the frequency at which the Splicer Priest teleports right next to you, and maybe make that not a thing, because I'll tell you, there's been times where I've been outrunning an Ogre, and then he teleports right in front of me and shoots me to death.
Okay, so out of a rank 1 up to 10, how would you rank that strike?
For actual mechanics and stuff, I'd probably give it a good 8, but for online playability, probably a 2. Now, let's move on. So they also redid the Philgoth strike into the Abomination Hut strike. I will say it was pretty well done. It wasn't very difficult, and it brought some raid elements into it, such as with the Hive Tomb ships, where you actually have to ride to get later into it, which is very reminiscent of the Taken King's Fall raid. It was pretty cool, and I like it. It's not too difficult to do for randoms, but there is a new level of, I don't know the correct terminology, but difficulty that is added into it with the final strike, with more ad spawning that are both Fallen and Hive, as well as Shriekers at some points as well. It makes it pretty chaotic, but overall, the boss is toned down a bit, damage-wise. He's not nearly as, insta-killy as he was back in year 1. It's something I noticed right away. And I appreciate. I see they also added Crota's Swords of Crota in there, as well as shot cannons to help clear out some of the ads. It's really cool, and I really like it. There's some cool mechanics in the fight, as well as there's different times where he'll sometimes get stunned, and you can run in with the Sword of Crota and do more damage. I like that. So, all of those are pretty good mechanics, and I've not died and wiped on that strike, except for on the Tomb Ship section because of Solar Burn Shanks, but that's just a different story, and that's more about the actual burn this week versus the strike itself. So I'd probably give it a good 7 on both. It wasn't the most enjoyable strike, but I liked it, and it has a pretty cool strike-specific loot drop if you're a hunter. It's some really cool gauntlets, which I'm currently wearing. See it right there in the activity slot, maybe? Let me bring up on mine. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, and the strike rewards.
I'm sorry about the super bright screen.
So here's what my full hunter looks like right now, and if I go into more detail, you kind of can see a little bit of what it looks like on there. I have no shader clips, so this is what it looks base. So, yeah. If you guys want to grind for it, it's pretty good. I'd say it's a pretty good thing to grind for. Alright, you can bring it back. So then, the final strike that they brought forward, the Sevix Perfected. You know, that was back when Sevix Prime. So, I like it quite a bit. I know I've said this a lot for these two, but this one felt the most true to home with adding things that didn't seem like it completely changed the strike, but gave it a new level of depth that was necessary. So it's not just the same thing like what they did with the Winter's Prime. Okay, I'm leaving the Wretched Eye Strike. As I'm saying right now, I just hear it popping up, and I do not want to go through it with some randoms, because I know we're not going to get through it.
I'm gonna leave you with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get it.
If you can get me water, that'd be great. Yeah.
This is my cup.
No? Oh, yeah.
This is my cup.
Use my cup. Alright, so...
Drink the stuff that's in
Oh,
it.
there is? Okay, sweet.
Sorry about that.
So Sevix Perfected. You're going through the strike normally, and of course you're in a new Plague Land, so it's pretty cool to see, but then when you go into there's a new hole opened up as if like where you used to be running by, and you see it, and it just lets you think, like it shows you how different it actually was right off the bat. There's two different paths that will happen from this point. One of which actually takes you straight into where you normally go through into the room where the Hive and the Fallen would fight, but now it's Hive and the Splicers. It's kind of cool as if you guys have played through the campaign or the Wretched Eye Strike. Sometimes there's Siva turrets that'll pop up. I don't think it's really spoilerish to say that. And they'll shoot for you, so it's, again, a little new mechanic. Sometimes you have to watch that and take them out before they can kill you. Kind of like that. Wasn't terrible. Sorry. Okay, I don't know I'm joining you too. And then after there you have your original room. Instead of it being 3 layers of lasers back in the original one, it is now only 2. They're slightly longer than where they were than the individual ones last time, but overall it's shorter. And where everyone would hide the snipe now has ads occasionally spawning in there. So if you are going to stay there, either have one person watch occasionally for that, or just try to find a new spot. And then just basically get through it how you usually would. Then after that, I would say it's pretty much the same if you get the Fallen Walker, just does a little bit more damage, and Splicers, so just watch out for that. But then there's also the possibility of being Hive, where it'll spawn 2 Hollowed Ogres, quite a few higher level Hive enemies as well. And overall, it's really unique. It's just kind of shook what the old strike was around. And then after that, you go and fight Sevix Perfected, which I have to say has the best implementation of new mechanics, because it uses something that is very obvious. Occasionally, it's like, after you do the first 4th of damage to Sevix, he'll become shielded. I believe it's always shock first, and then you have to wait for 2 shock captains to spawn. One is a red health, and the other is a yellow health major, where it's kind of cool because each of the shock cannons will have 1 shot. So a good strategy is A, kill the weaker one with your guns, and then use the shock cannon to kill the stronger one. Or B, use a super or focus down the major and the captain, fire 1 shot off and break the shield that Sevix gets, and then from there, sorry, here's Simon, my cat. From there, you're able to do some pretty good damage directly to Sevix by shooting it, especially if it's correlated to the burn of that week. So then, after you've done the first one, it's at 1/3 health. He gets solar shielded, and then when he gets down to 1/4 health, he gets void shields. You'll notice because Shiro 4, if you haven't played the story, I'm not going to spoil it because he does have a pretty good part will say there's no place for Starks to run now. You got him. And this week I've been running my Hunter for you guys. If you guys know, I'm running Hunter Golden Gun with Celestial Nighthawk. I destroy him in that last stage, but it's pretty good. And if you guys are curious of what some of the new strike-specific loot drops are, I can show you guys. This is a standard strike-specific loot drop that they have done standard rules. It is the Devil's Dawn Sniper. Also, sorry for the bad camera, guys. Okay, so recording just lagged a bit. So yeah, the Devil's Dawn Sniper rolling in with life support, Firefly, armor piercing round, rifle barrel, or quick draw. So overall, pretty good perks for PvP and PvE. And then, of course, I already showed you my Hive themed gauntlets. They're pretty cool and stuff.
It's warm in here.
Okay, so then I think it's time we talk about something else and move on. The new patrol, the Plaguelands. If any of you guys were playing back when Taken King was around, you will remember Bungie saying that the patrol was all about replayability. It was going to be a great way to get loot. And it basically turned down to, yeah, you got artifacts if you had an antiquated rune and you did it, Corvorex. Besides that, you got nothing. Well, now in this patrol, most of the patrol missions give you a round from 250 Glimmer to 1,000.
I still don't know what Glimmer to use for.
It's basic currency, Kevin. It's just used for like infusing and stuff, buying upgrades. But it'll range from there to having a actual engrams drop and stuff like that. There's also a lot of secrets out here. Kevin, this might be a good time for you to help. So I just loaded in. I don't right now. Actually, I do have a Steve offering. No, I might be able to do myself for Alright, so here's kind of the base view from where you load into the patrol. Right here. As you can see, it's pretty snowy and everything. I'm going to try to get to some cooler places and do some things on here. But, when Kevin's done getting some food, he's going to do that. But, yeah. Overall, it's a really cool area to explore, and I haven't found all the secrets yet. I found quite a lot. I remember I actually got on pretty early the day that this expansion released. 3 a.m. I was in queue. Actually, 3 a.m. all the servers were offline. And then 3:30 I was put into a queue at place 398,286 to get into the Destiny servers. After them taking 10,000 people every 20 seconds to get in, I got in after about 20 minutes of waiting, and I was able to start playing with Garrett, which we always talk about.
Thunderqueef.
Yeah. And Thunderqueef and I, we went through this. We had quite a lot of fun. And we didn't do a lot of patrol, but we went through the DLC. I'm not going to spoil what you get for completing the 5 story missions. But I'll tell you, it's pretty cool. And I feel that's how it should have been for the fucking, for the Taken King story. Instead of having to work for your goddamn sword, you just kill fucking Oryx. Why can't the sword just be given to you? So I kind of did spoil it. You get an exotic sword for completing the fucking 5 missions.
It looks pretty cool.
And I'll tell you, it's now the highest damaging sword in the game. As a result, though, one of the big negatives is, unlike all the other swords, which its special attack takes 5 charge, this one's takes 10. But it pairs very well with the other swords as well, because it applies, if you are a Sunbreaker Titan, or you know what Sunbreaker Titan's melting point ability is, debuff to any enemy hit by said
Weird, like one of them things.
Yeah, you're gonna hear that. Sorry, one of my friends was trying to get me to play with him right now on Destiny. I will say, since the Rise of Iron's gone out, it's kind of revitalized the community, and a lot of people have been staying interested a bit longer. As it's kind of interesting this time, you can actually run the raid multiple times a week on the same character and still get loot because of the Siva caches in there. How it works now is after you kill a boss, the boss itself will drop strike loot, but then there will be a chest that you can use the Siva cache key to open, and if you do, it will give you more of that boss's drops from it. So you won't just get special drops, or you will get drops that you get later in the raid. It'll be what that boss that you just killed could have dropped. So if that makes any sense at all, if you played King's Fall, for a good example, it's a War Priest can only drop weapons, and Golgoroth can only drop armor. Well, in this one, I believe every boss, up until the final one, can only drop armor and special weapons and heavy, while the final boss drops, I know, armor and primary weapons only. So, it's pretty cool how that works. I like it. Also, it seems like it's pretty well themed and put out, but I haven't played it yet, so hopefully I've been trying to get some light level tonight to get an LFG group together, maybe record this while we go through it for my first time and impressions. So, I mean, it's only, I think it's a week after the raid came out. I know I'm a little bit late to getting some reviews out, but I just wanted to thoroughly get a lot of time into it. I also was kind of sick for the past few days, and I kind of got some food poisoning and everything, so I had some extra time to play. I didn't get to play a lot because of having to make up schoolwork, but in general, when I have had time to play, it's been a blast. I've enjoyed it more. I'm heading towards the Archon's Forge. I'm not gonna do this by myself, I don't think. I could, and actually I might try it for you guys, because it's not, I only have a green offering, so I might as well explain how the offering systems work before I attempt this by myself. Basically, how it works is, I'm gonna try to show you. I have a fused Siva offering right here. They come in green, blue, and purple. The green has a recommended light level of 320. Enemies and bosses will be between 320 light and 340. While the blue is recommended of 340, which the bosses and enemies will be between 340 and 350. And then the purple is from 360 to 400 light bosses. But you will not see anything above 385 until Hard Mode Raid is released.
What's that exotic thing?
And that is for the Sleeper Simulant, and I'm too lazy to get those two done.
What's the Sleeper Simulant?
It's a really cool heavy weapon, and that's an exotic. It's a heavy fusion.
Eventually do it.
I will. Yeah, I'm just too lazy to do Sleeper Simulant. You guys just heard that. So basically, I'm gonna try to pull this out right now. What my character is currently holding is the new exotic sword. There he is, right there. It's called the Young Wolf's Howl, and it's got some cool ornaments. It fits in pretty well with the new ornament system as well, thematically and everything. How you get it, it's really cool. I like it, and I would like more expansions to have. Maybe not exactly sword, but maybe I would have loved to see a fiery axe as the exotic as well. But I get why they didn't, because it's supposed to be a relic and it's supposed to be more special, and it wouldn't be exactly fully special if everyone in the game was just running around with that fiery axe. But the Young Wolf's Howl is a pretty good sword. It's powerful, and it's deserving of your new title as an Iron Lord after completing this. And if you guys are gonna get butthurt like, it's a spoiler. No, in all the promotional art for this game, even when you're going to buy it, it says, become an Iron Lord from the get-go. So if you aren't expecting to become an Iron Lord before you get into this, it's either you are first off you can't read and you had someone literally buy it on Xbox or GameStop for you without reading any of the boxes or anything, or B, you've been living under a rock and you just haven't even watched anything, which surprises me that you even know about the Rise of Iron in the first place and you're watching this video.
I'm Dave.
Basically, this whole thing is, what I'm doing right now is the Argon's Forge. Let me explain how this kind of works. If you guys know what the core of works was, you had a time to beat the boss in, and ads would spawn. How this works is it's very similar to Prison of Others in the sense that there is ad waves, and then there's a boss wave. Well, all the ads have to be killed, and the boss in 5 minutes. This goes for all of the difficulties, from green up to purple. So, it gets more difficult. The blue and the green, I will say, are basically the same, just one has slightly higher light level enemies in it. And, honestly, the bosses are just basically majors, with a little bit more extra health. They melt, especially if you get the axe relics to spawn. I'm not exactly sure how the algorithm works on them spawning, because there's been times where none of us have died, and it said you are not worthy, and we finished in literally a minute to get to there. And it's like, yeah, no axe for you. And then there's been times where our entire fire team has died, and we've done a splicer key trick where one person went out, bought in, and everyone else respawned real quickly and ran in as well afterwards. But we got axes. So, I'm not sure how exactly that set out to work, but it's something that Bungie did. That's all I can say for that. But when you do miraculously get them to spawn, those axes just decimate the battlefield. They destroy the bosses instantly, unless you're on the Perfected, which those bosses I feel have a bit too much health. It's almost like you're fighting a strike boss that you have to kill in, if you're good, probably 2 or 3 minutes. It's not very fun. It's more of like, oh my god, pump everything you have into him now or we are all fucking dead. It's not a sense of, hey, look, I just did this. And wow, I just did that.
You die, really.
Yeah. So, I just got a cloak. Also, I'll say Archon's Forge actually gives you rewards, unlike Court of Oryx. And there's always going to be that one person saying, well, I got a 335 artifact. Yeah, cool, good for you. That's how they sent it to me. They said that's how you get your artifacts in it, if you remember back to it. But, it's not, it's like the same thing of me saying, I got a raid weapon in a raid.
Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything. So, the Court of Works was kind of, in my opinion, a pretty big flop, but the Archon's Forge actually has some unique gear to it that's not just artifacts, such as what I have out here. I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is my Salvage Vigil. It's now my new favorite fusion rifle in the game.
Cobbled together.
It looks pretty cool. I like, yeah, as Kevin said, I think the whole theme behind that is this is cobbled from like the armor pieces by Saladin himself and the weapons of the Iron Lords, and used to make weapons that remember them, such as I've not forgotten I've gotten from the exact same Argon's Forge, and has a pretty damn good roll on it as well. If you've noticed what I said, it has pretty good rolls, because there's not a lot of bad perks that can spawn on these weapons. Like, I'm basically running around with some of that would have taken me into Taken King a few months to get gear within the first week of this being released. I've had most of my gear for a long time on here, unlike my Matador 64, which, yes, that got brought back in the Crucible and is quite annoying to fight against in Supremacy. basically, my best advice if you have a problem with shotgun is get the better with the boomstick and stand your ground. But honestly, I have to say some of the vendor weapons that were for sale this time have just blown me out of the water. The gear looks really cool, and I didn't even talk about the record book, which I'm only 11 out of the 24 ranks available for it. I haven't even come close to getting all of the gear, and they have a really cool container banner on the rope. This thing is just, my god.
Metallic.
That's all I can say. And it's fun. It's been as Bungie said, it is something that you want to get. It's not something that's just, hey look, I can use my Taken King gear with already a god roll. It's something that you're going to be like, yeah, I can use my Taken King gear, or I can use this new, really cool looking Rise of Iron god roll weapon right off the bat and try it out and see how it performs. I like that kind of philosophy for it. But also going back to Patrol, I forgot to mention this, now they also made it so the first public event you do a day gives you a guaranteed legendary engram, 15 legendary marks, and I think it's between 5 and 10 motes of light and some planetary materials as well. It's pretty helpful. New directory, still not changed very much, but
Where are we at?
we're at 31 minutes, so I'm gonna probably wrap this video up, guys. But that's just kind of my thoughts on it. Overall, as a Destiny expansion, I gave Taken King a good 9 because of how it completely revamped the story, loot system, and everything for the better. I will give this probably an 8 because while they kept a very mixed loot system between the Taken Kings and the April updates, it just seems like you're literally not able to go back to old strikes and have a chance of getting loot that will help you like you were before. Not old strikes, I mean the normal mode. And then after you reach 365, most of the heroic strike drops just become completely obsolete. And from there, you only have Nightfall and Crucible to get you to 370, and then from there you have the Raid and Nightfall, Iron Banner, Trial of Cyrus to get you up. Unlike where I was still running in the April update heroic strikes, and I would randomly get legendaries and strike drops higher than the light I had, it still seems a little underwhelming that they changed that, and I kind of like that, but I guess since this isn't a huge light update, that's kind of necessary. So, I want you guys to say in the description, what do you guys think? Do you think that Rise of Iron has been a good expansion? Did you think it wasn't worth the $30 for 5 stories while the Taken King for 40 had 20? Or do you think since they didn't focus on the stories and went for more of a longer longevity with the Plague Lands and hidden missions and stuff in that was worth it? I want your guys' opinions in the description. Personally, I think I'm satisfied with this, and I'm still having fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this has been Blair
And Slenderman, and I just have one more thing. Along with the thing that Ian just said about Destiny, put in the description your favorite season. I want to hear what you guys have to say.
like year 1, year 2, year 3
No, I meant like physical seasons.
of Destiny.
No, of like the world.
Oh yeah, because like since they have the snow in the Cosmodrome, that makes sense.
That and the fact that we just entered fall.
That's true. That's true. So,
Mine personally is winter.
well, I'm gonna see you guys later. I'm gonna get on with my fire team, and we're gonna try to grind some strikes. So,
Bye bye.
bye, people.